My beloved child, stop everything. I am in your room right now. Not symbolically, not eventually, and not as a distant concept. I stepped into the atmosphere you thought was ordinary, and I came with fire in my breath and healing in my hands. This message, this specific moment, is not random. It is a divine interruption. So do not scroll, do not scan, and do not listen halfway through like this is common content. I need you to hear every single word. Because hidden inside this voice is a breakthrough coded in heaven's language. I am not speaking to the crowd right now. I am speaking directly to you. What I am about to reveal is surgical. It is prophetic, and it carries the weight required for your next season. Watch until the very last second, because what begins as a whisper will end in a holy awakening. Miss this moment, and you might miss the door I am opening right now. My beloved child, the atmosphere you are breathing in is not what it used to be. You feel that shift, don't you? That unspoken weight in the air is not a burden. It is presence. My presence. The quiet around you is no longer empty. It is layered, rich, and sacred. Every molecule in this room has been touched by the whisper of heaven, by the nearness of my spirit. This isn't the same space you walked into earlier. It has been transformed not by candles or worship music, not by effort or ritual, but by intention, my intention. I have chosen this exact location and this exact hour to invade the natural with the supernatural, to wrap your ordinary surroundings in eternal significance. I have not come by accident or obligation. I have arrived by design. Your room has become my sanctuary, not because of its cleanliness or silence, but because of the cry in your spirit, that unspoken ache, that half-formed prayer, the quiet glance upward when no one else was watching. Those things moved me. You thought today was just another day, another stretch of hours to survive. But child, this day was etched into heaven's schedule. I hovered over this moment long before you opened your eyes this morning. I walked through the hours with you, anticipating the second your heart would begin to lean into something unseen. And when you crossed that invisible line, when you dared to hope that maybe I was near, I stepped fully into the room, not symbolically, but literally, spiritually, and powerfully. The space around you is now charged with my authority. The atmosphere is not normal because I am not a normal visitor. I am the king who doesn't need to knock when the heart is open. I do not pace outside closed doors. I walk through walls of weariness to enter when my beloved is ready. Right now, walls that once felt suffocating are beginning to breathe. Corners that held shadows of hopelessness are being warmed by my light, and you, precious one, are no longer sitting alone. I have changed the atmosphere because I came to change you in it. My beloved, I want you to hear this clearly. You didn't summon me. You didn't conjure me up with perfect prayers or polished worship. You didn't have to beg or perform or plead long enough for me to show up. No, child. I came because your ache reached heaven. I moved because the sound of your pain became louder than the noise of your surroundings. Not louder in volume, but in weight, in truth, and in raw, holy honesty. You have whispered things into your pillow that no one else knows. You have let tears roll down your cheeks in silence, thinking they evaporated into the mattress. But I tell you this now, every one of them reached me. I tracked their descent like precious diamonds falling into my hands. I came not because of performance, but because of posture, your posture in pain. You may not have even realized it, but when you kept breathing through the grief, when you dared to hope again after another disappointment, When you said I trust you through cracked lips, the atmosphere of heaven shifted. I stood up, and I moved toward you with urgency. There is something sacred, something thunderous, about pain that is offered to me instead of buried. Your ache is not a weakness, it is a summons in the spirit realm. And though you didn't know it, your ache had authority. It had resonance. It echoed in the throne room, not as a complaint, but as a call for closeness. You see, child, I don't move according to earthly patterns. I move when the heart becomes a magnet for mercy. And yours did. You didn't send for me, but I still came. Because I am not the kind of father who waits for an invitation when my child is breaking. I break with you, I ache with you. I rush toward the sound of your trembling soul, the same way a mother runs toward a crying baby in the dark. It is instinct in me. It is love unfiltered. Your ache didn't scare me. It stirred me. I wasn't repelled by your confusion. I was drawn to your vulnerability. And I didn't bring angels ahead of me to check the room first. I entered myself because I needed you to know it is personal. Let's make one thing clear. This is not a routine visitation. I am not just passing through. I came because something eternal has shifted inside of you. Your ache has unlocked access to things others never reach. Not because you are better, but because you have bled in private and still lifted your face toward me. That posture is powerful. That ache you tried to hide from others was the sound that shattered the veil between the visible and invisible. Your heartbreak cracked open the door to divine encounter. And I walked in through that crack carrying peace in one hand and purpose in the other. So don't despise your ache. It did more than your strength ever could. It brought me into the room, not as a judge, but as a healer. Not as a ruler, but as a father. And I need you to know I came not to observe your pain, but to inhabit it with you. Because my glory doesn't run from brokenness. It rests in it. You haven't said much about it. You have smiled when you were supposed to. You have shown up when you wanted to hide. You have nodded when your soul was screaming for rest, and no one knew the difference. But I did. I watched how you moved through the day, through the night, through the shadows, carrying a weight that was slowly pressing against your ribs like stone. That invisible weight, the one that no test can measure and no doctor can diagnose. I felt every ounce of it. You think I have been distant because you didn't hear an answer when you prayed. But child, I was so close I could feel your breath change. I was watching the muscles in your face tighten when you held back the tears again. I was counting the sighs, not as weakness, but as worship. Because each one was a confession that said, I am still here, Lord. It hurts, but I am still here. And to me, beloved, that is holy. The world has no award for invisible burdens. No one claps when you wake up and choose to love again while your heart feels threadbare. No one celebrates when you say nothing instead of unleashing the storm inside. But I see what no one else sees, and I honor what no one else understands. I know the toll it has taken. The toll of being strong for others while feeling fragile inside. The toll of holding your family together while feeling like you are falling apart behind closed doors. I have watched the silent battles you fought, battles of insecurity, of loneliness, of fear. And I didn't just observe from a distance. I absorbed them into my awareness. I carried them with you. And where you think you barely survived, I want you to know something. You were never carrying that weight alone. Even when your knees buckled, my hand was under you. Even when your spirit screamed, I can't anymore. I whispered, "Then let me." The enemy didn't win. You are still here, and that alone is a miracle. The fact that you are hearing this, breathing right now, still searching for my voice, proves something the enemy hoped you would never realize. You were stronger than what tried to crush you, not because of your might, but because of my mercy. I reinforced you when you didn't feel me. I reinforced you in parking lots, in bathroom stalls, in moments of isolation where your tears became prayers. Yes, those moments. I didn't need you to shout. I was already listening to the sound of your soul. And now, because you trusted me in the weight, I am lifting it. Not all at once, but layer by layer, burden by burden, breath by breath. Because what once broke you will now become the evidence that I held you through it. Beloved, I need you to lean in, not just with your ears, but with your heart. What you are experiencing in this very moment is not metaphor. It is not imagination. It is not emotion masquerading as faith. This is me, literally me. I am in your room right now. I am not speaking in riddles or wrapped in symbols. I am not hiding behind circumstance. I have come as I am, in full awareness, full intention, and full presence. My spirit has stepped into your atmosphere, not as an observer, but as a participant. The air around you has been kissed with glory. Your ceiling is now the floor of heaven. Every shadow has shifted. Every silent space in your heart has been pierced by the radiance of my nearness. This is not a feeling, it is a fact. This is not a mood, it is a manifestation. I am the God who split seas with wind and parted pain with presence. And today I have walked into your room with the same weight of divinity that shook mountains and calmed waves. Let me be painfully, beautifully clear. You are not experiencing me through a screen or secondhand through someone else's encounter. I am not distant. I am not watching from the throne alone. I am in this very room with you. My feet have touched your floor. My robe has swept through your thoughts. And what you feel pressing against your chest, that overwhelming stillness, that trembling that rises unprovoked, that breath that catches in the middle of stillness, it is me. It has always been me. You thought the goosebumps were coincidence. You assumed the sudden emotion was exhaustion. You figured the tightness in your throat was just a memory rising. But I tell you the truth. It is the pressure of glory pressing in upon your humanity. You are standing in sacred space now. Not because the room changed, but because I walked in and transformed it into a sanctuary. You have asked me for signs. You have pleaded for something undeniable. And here I am. Undeniable, unmistakable, unshakable. I don't need thunder to prove myself. I don't need fire to validate my words. My presence speaks louder than sound. My nearness is more powerful than spectacle. And this moment, this very moment where you sit, is proof that I respond to longing, not performance. You didn't force this encounter. You didn't manufacture this connection. You simply stayed soft when life tried to harden you, and that softness made room for me to arrive. Child, do you realize what that means? It means you are not chasing an invisible God. You are hosting a very present one. Your room has become a meeting place, a portal of divine communication. Not just today, but from this point forward. My arrival isn't temporary. My intention isn't momentary. I came to dwell. I came to remain. I came to turn your room into holy ground. So open your heart wide and let the truth shatter every illusion. I am not far. I am not fictional. I am not symbolic. I am here. Can you feel it, child? That quiet movement around your spirit like wind whispering without sound? That is my robe brushing the floor of your room, the very ground where your tears have soaked the fabric of the earth. You didn't think I noticed. You assumed your weeping was wasted, but I tell you with the authority of eternity, nothing is hidden from me. Nothing. Not your slumped shoulders at midnight, not the way you pause before speaking, holding back what no one would understand, not the silent ache in your chest when no one called to check in. I saw it all. I have counted your sighs like sacred incense. I have bottled your tears like precious oil, and even now I walk where your pain tried to bury your praise. My robe does not avoid brokenness. It sweeps through it, sanctifies it, and transforms it into testimony. Your room is littered with the quiet evidence of endurance. Notes half written, prayers half spoken, dreams you thought had died. But to me, every one of those remnants is holy. I do not step around your sorrow. I walk right into it with all the gentleness of a father and the full authority of a king. My robe is stained with compassion. It has gathered the dust of your darkest nights. Where others stepped over you, I stepped toward you. Where others ignored your collapse, I caught you mid-fall. Where others only saw strength or struggle, I saw the in-between. The invisible moments that no one applauds, but heaven records with reverence. Child, hear me now. There has never been a second, not one, where your pain went unnoticed. You have cried behind closed doors, but I was already on the other side of them, waiting for the moment you would look up and realize you were never crying alone. Let this truth anchor you. Your vulnerability has never been invisible to me. I have not missed a detail. The very spot where your knees hit the floor in surrender is the very place my robe has passed over. The fibers of your grief have brushed against the folds of my glory. And where others saw defeat, I saw devotion. You thought you had to hide your tears to protect your witness. But your witness was never in the hiding, it was in the weeping. Your tears preach louder than sermons. They carry a message angels pause to hear. And my robe has carried the residue of every cry you released into your pillow. That floor you wept on is now drenched with purpose. That corner where you collapsed is now consecrated, because wherever your tears fall, my presence follows. So now, don't rush to wipe them away. Don't apologize for feeling deeply. Don't try to gather yourself too quickly. I am not uncomfortable with your unraveling. In fact, I honor it. I meet you not when you are most put together, but when you are most undone. This is the holy exchange I came for. I give you comfort for every sob. I give you clarity for every confusion. And I give you my robe, a symbol of proximity, royalty, and rest. So let your heart rest in this truth. I saw where your tears fell, and I responded by placing my robe there. And when I walk, I don't leave things as I found them. I restore, renew, and rebuild with love deeper than oceans and stronger than time. You are not alone, beloved. You are robed in my nearness now. My precious child, even before you formed the words to pray, before your mouth opened in desperate intercession, I had already heard what your heart dared not speak, the ache in your chest, that deep, unspoken pressure that feels like it is pressing down when the world goes quiet. I felt it. I heard it. I responded to it. Not with a messenger, not with a delayed blessing, but I responded with myself. You didn't need another distraction. You didn't need another person to offer you secondhand comfort. You needed the presence of your Creator stepping into the ache with answers that don't always come in words, but in witness. And so I came not to fix you first, not to instruct you right away, but to be with you, to sit with you in that sacred ache that few understand. There is a sound to your sighs that the world overlooks, but heaven doesn't miss what the world ignores. That exhale you release in the stillness of night, when hope feels thin and your thoughts feel thick. That sigh has become a symphony in the throne room. Your sighs are sacred. They don't go unnoticed. They rise like incense, wordless, weighty, and woven with trust. And child, I am not deaf to your pain. I don't require articulate prayers to act. I require surrender. And every time you sighed instead of screamed, every time you whispered my name when the ache tried to crush your chest, that was surrender. That was worship. That was warfare in stillness. The ache in your chest wasn't just a symptom of sadness, it was the sound of your soul crying for divine rescue. And I didn't delay. I didn't send my angels to investigate. I came myself. Clothed in glory, wrapped in tenderness, armed with the very peace your heart couldn't produce on its own. Let me say this plainly. I came because your ache moved me. I don't ignore my children, I don't step over suffering, I don't walk past pain camouflaged in silence. I inhabit it, and I want you to know the difference between relief and presence. I didn't just come to give you a moment of ease, I came to wrap myself around the ache, to absorb it, to transform it, to make it carry glory. You see, beloved, pain does not repel me. It pulls me in like gravity pulls rain to thirsty soil. I see the stress in your body. I see the way you subconsciously curl your shoulders in. I see the way your breath shallows at night. I see the way you stare into the ceiling with tears that won't fall because even crying feels like too much effort. But I also see the way you still keep your spirit cracked open, even if just slightly. That is why I came. That is why I'm here, because you didn't close yourself off to me. You left a window open, even if it was small. And through that crack, I blew in like wind, silent, sacred, and unstoppable. So now, don't silence that ache. Let me meet you in it. Don't try to dismiss the sighs like they don't matter. They matter to me. I have mapped every one of them. Each breath you released in tension has been tracked by heaven and is now being answered by presence, not platitude. Glory, not guesswork. I am not just near you, I am intertwined with the rhythm of your ache, and I am turning what once hurt into something holy. My beloved, you looked around for someone to notice, didn't you? When the weight of the world sat heavy on your chest and your spirit silently screamed for help, you looked to see if anyone's eyes met yours with understanding. But they didn't. People walked by unaware. They offered surface smiles and shallow words. They didn't ask the questions your soul was begging to answer. And so you assumed, wrongly, that because no one else saw your pain, I didn't either. You mistook my stillness for distance. You mistook quietness for absence. But hear me now with a clarity that cuts through the fog. I have been watching your pain form prayers. Even when your lips never moved, your silence wasn't empty. It was sacred. It was full of longing, full of truth. And I was there. I was there when your silence spoke louder than any sermon. You see, child, the world celebrates loud faith, boisterous declarations, and thunderous praise. But I honor the quiet courage, the whispered trust, the invisible warfare that happens when no one is watching but heaven. When your heart aches and still you stay. When your hope flickers but never dies. When your body feels weary but you keep showing up. That is what moves me. That is what pulls me in close. You thought I hadn't heard because you didn't scream. But I don't need volume to hear pain. I need honesty. And you gave me that. You gave me your raw ache wrapped in reverence. You gave me your unanswered questions still laced with hope. And that, beloved, is a kind of prayer that echoes for eternity. Your silence has been your sanctuary. It has been the place where your pain became a song. Yes, a psalm unwritten, unsung, but unforgettable. I heard every line of it. The stanzas you thought were wasted moments, I recorded them in heaven's archives. I listened when you stared into space, hoping something would make sense. I saw when your thoughts spun in circles and you still looked up with weary eyes. Those were prayers, unnamed and polite, but powerful. You didn't need eloquence to reach me. You needed honesty. And you have given me more honesty in your silence than some give me in an hour of shouting. So no, child, I was never far. I was never out of reach. I was closer than your breath, recording every heartbeat, every wordless groan, every holy sigh. I was there when you smiled out of habit but cried inwardly. I was there when you wiped away tears before anyone could ask what was wrong. I was there when you fought through the fog and dared to hope again. I saw it all. And I didn't just see. I responded. I am responding now. Not with noise, but with nearness. Not with spectacle, but with substance. I am turning those silent prayers into visible answers. You may not have felt me then, but you will see me now. You will watch as what once formed in the shadows begins to unfold in the light. This is the moment where the silence gets translated into fulfillment, where the pain you thought went unnoticed is revealed as the foundation I have been building on. I have seen it all, child. I heard it all. And now I am moving on it all. My precious one, let me make this clear. I didn't come into your space today to scold you for the doubts you have carried. I didn't enter this room with correction in my hand or with judgment in my voice. I came with compassion, with covering, with the overwhelming embrace of a father who knows your frame and treasures your fragility. I came not to point out where you have faltered, but to remind you that even in your faltering, you are still favored. I am not the voice that condemns you. I am the voice that calls you close, not in spite of your weariness, but because of it. You have carried exhaustion like a secret hidden beneath your daily motions. But I saw it all, and I didn't flinch. I leaned in closer. I wrapped my nearness around the bruises no one else knew to touch. You see, child, I don't come with a checklist. I come with covering. And right now, my presence is pouring over your soul like oil over dry ground. Your weariness is not repulsive to me. It is magnetic. The weight you thought would push me away has only pulled me in deeper. I have come to wrap my nearness around your exhaustion, to encircle every part of you that has felt forgotten, depleted, and frayed at the edges. I am not pacing the perimeter of your life, waiting for you to recover before I get involved. No, I have stepped inside the very room where your strength ran out, and I have brought with me rest that reaches deeper than sleep. My nearness isn't passive, it's powerful. It doesn't sit beside you like a silent friend. It intervenes. It breathes. It binds up brokenness and infuses strength into the parts of you that forgot how to hope. I know what others have made you believe, that your weariness is a weakness, that your questions disqualify you, that your fatigue proves you failed. But I say to you now, those lies are ashes beneath my feet. Because I never required your perfection. I have always been after your presence. And even when your presence came with tired eyes, trembling hands, and a soul hanging on by a thread, I received it. You came to me not with polish, but with pieces, and I did not reject them. I gathered them. I honored them. And now I am doing more than comforting you. I am clothing you. I am draping my nearness like a garment over your shoulders. I am swaddling your soul with peace that doesn't make sense. You don't have to understand it. You only have to receive it. You don't have to explain your tiredness. You only have to collapse into the arms that have been waiting to hold you. So come now, breathe. Let yourself feel me here, not as a visitor, but as your refuge. I came to sit with you, not just for this moment, but for the long stretch ahead. I came to stay. I came to remain. And I came to carry what you can no longer bear. I am near, beloved, and that nearness isn't symbolic. It is supernatural strength wrapped in tenderness. Let go. Let me. You don't have to prove yourself to be loved by me. I already love you completely, and I am not going anywhere. My child, I need you to hear me clearly and let it settle deeper than the doubt. I am not far. I am not on the other side of the storm waiting for you to get it all together. I am not pacing the heavens passively, observing your struggle from a high and holy distance. No, beloved, I am beside you, right here, right now. I am not afraid of your mess. I didn't come because the atmosphere was perfect. I didn't wait until your heart was steady or your thoughts were sorted. I came while the storm was still swirling. I came into the chaos, and I came with the full weight of my presence to sit in the middle of what you were convinced would repel me. Let me tell you something you've been too scared to believe. Your mess doesn't scare me. Your broken rhythms, your inconsistent faith, your tired confessions, your silent frustration, I have seen them all, and I stayed. I am not shocked by the clutter in your thoughts or the questions in your heart. I am not pacing outside waiting for you to clean up so I can come in. I already came in. I entered the mess, my robe trailing through the dust, my eyes locked on you with love that won't be silenced. You thought the mess disqualified you, but to me, it was an invitation. You assumed your dysfunction would distance me, but to me, it was a door. You believed the disarray would delay my arrival, but I tell you now, I ran to the sound of your unraveling because I am not a guest, I am a father. And fathers don't flinch at the mess. They step into it with sleeves rolled up and arms wide open. Child, your pain doesn't make me pull away, it pulls me closer. I sat in the dust with you, unmoved by the chaos around you. Where others walked away, I walked in. Where others grew uncomfortable with your process, I grew invested. I planted myself beside you, not to watch you clean up, but to help you rebuild. To whisper truth while lies scream louder. To anchor you when the ground feels unstable. I am not shaken by the things that shake you. I am not offended by the things that confuse you, and I am not disappointed in your humanity. I created it, I shaped it, and I know how to hold you steady when the winds rise and your resolve begins to fray. You don't need to impress me. I was already impressed by your willingness to keep breathing when it hurt. That was enough, that was holy. So listen again more closely this time. I am not hoping you will notice me from afar. I am here. I am beside you. I am within reach. My nearness is not based on your performance, but on my promise. And I keep my promises. You don't have to clean the room before you let me sit down. I already sat down. I already settled in, not as a judge, but as a comforter. Not as a stranger, but as your constant. I am not intimidated by your questions, your confusion, or your clutter. I walk where others retreat. I remain when others leave. I restore what others label irreparable. So let me remain beside you, not because you earned it, but because you are mine, child. I did not wait for your life to be pristine. I did not require your space to be spotless or your soul to be polished. I did not ask for the curated version of you that others expect. I came to the room you actually live in, the one where the air still carries the residue of tears, the one where your floor knows your knees better than anyone else, the room where sighs outnumber words. That is the space I chose. That is the room I entered. Because I don't respond to performance, I respond to pain. I respond to truth. I respond to presence. And right now, my presence is saturating the very place you thought was unworthy of a visitation. Listen closely, beloved. You don't need to clean up to receive me. You never did. You thought you had to present a better version of yourself before I would draw near. But I tell you the truth. I have always been closest when you have been the most undone. I have always leaned in when others looked away. I am not moved by neatness. I am moved by nearness. And your vulnerability is a magnet for my mercy. The room you cried in, the space that held your lowest moments, that is the altar I have chosen. I am not waiting in the polished parts of your life. I am sitting in the honest ones. The place you try to hide is the place I want to heal. The ground you thought was too dusty, too dark, too disorganized, that is where my robe has swept. That is where my glory is resting. Not because you have earned it, but because I chose it. This is high-impact truth. I do not need your strength to show up. I show up because of your surrender. I do not knock at the doors of perfection. I walk through the thresholds of brokenness. I come not where the paint is fresh, but where the walls carry the stories of survival. You think your mess disqualifies you, but it is your mask that delays me. When you stop pretending, when you put down the broom, when you stop apologizing for the tears you haven't yet dried, that is when I draw even closer. I came to the room no one else sees, the one you collapse in, the one where you laugh in silence, cry without restraint, and wonder if anyone is watching. I have watched it all, and I wasn't watching to judge. I was watching to move. I entered that space with arms wide, eyes full of mercy and power that wraps around pain like a healing wind. So now, don't resist this. Don't excuse yourself from this encounter because you feel unprepared. The truth is, you are exactly the version of you I have been waiting for. The undone, raw, open, honest you. I didn't walk into the room that fits someone else's standard. I walked into the room that holds the real you, the weary, wondering, weeping warrior. The one who has been quietly holding it all together when no one clapped. And now I say to you, as only a father can, you are enough for me. Not because of what you have done, but because of who you are. You are mine. I need you to feel this with your spirit. You were not overlooked today, not for a second. The world may have rushed past you. People may have ignored your expression, misread your silence, missed the ache behind your eyes, but not me. I watched you today. I followed every breath, every blink, every brave decision to keep going when quitting would have felt easier. I saw the way you served others while starving for someone to just see you. I noticed when your name wasn't called, when your message wasn't returned, when your effort was overlooked. But child, listen. You were never once outside my gaze. In a world that forgot to pause for you, I paused heaven. I slowed eternity to look upon you. You were not background noise in my kingdom. You were center stage in my affection. Let this settle deep. My attention isn't general, it is granular. I don't glance over crowds, I lock eyes with hearts. And my eyes were locked on you. You didn't need to wave your hands to get my focus, you already had it. I wasn't distracted. I wasn't prioritizing someone else. You have never been my afterthought. You are my agenda. You are not next in line. You are the one I moved heaven's calendar to speak to right now. I have watched how you have remained faithful when nothing around you affirmed your faith. How you have encouraged others while starving for encouragement yourself. I saw the conversation you replayed in your head, wondering if you said too much or too little. I heard the inner critic try to silence your worth, and I tell you now with finality, none of it was missed. All of it was noted. And all of it is being answered. You were not forgotten. You were marked, set apart, selected, etched into the scrolls of heaven. And today, this day, I turn my full gaze towards you, not because you performed, but because you are precious. You didn't need to achieve something to get my attention. You already have my heart. Just because others didn't acknowledge your worth today, doesn't mean it wasn't shining. Sometimes I hide your value from others so you don't become dependent on their applause. I hide you to protect you. I cover you to preserve you. And then, when the moment is right, I reveal you like a sunrise breaking through what seemed like endless night. Your hidden faith is being honored. Your private sacrifices are being documented in eternity. What others missed, I magnified. What they forgot, I remembered. So here is your reality. You are the center of my attention today, not because you shouted loud, but because you remained faithful in the quiet. And now I am responding, not with small gestures, but with a divine spotlight that will not burn out. I have carved your name into my hand. I have written your story into the unfolding of destiny. You matter, not as a statistic, but as a son, as a daughter, as a living reflection of my love. You were not passed over. You are preserved. And the world is about to witness what I have been watching all along. You, child, listen. Listen beyond the natural. Open the inner ear of your spirit and feel the thunder in the silence. Because though your room may still appear calm, though your surroundings may look unchanged, I tell you now, my arrival has ignited a shift that your eyes haven't caught up to yet. My movements are not always measured in noise, but in consequence. Heaven doesn't always announce itself with fireworks. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. Sometimes it arrives like wind, silent but unstoppable, invisible but undeniable. And in this moment, I have arrived. Heaven has entered your atmosphere, not with fanfare, but with force. What feels like stillness is actually the stillness before resurrection. What seems like quiet is sacred recalibration. Things are already shifting. You have been taught to look for lightning to know when I am near, to wait for shouts, to expect signs. But I am teaching you something deeper. My arrival isn't always loud, but it is never passive. When I step into a space, every spiritual structure aligns. Principalities lose their footing. Angels take position. Chains that were comfortable in darkness begin to tremble under the pressure of my light. Yes, beloved, things are shifting even now, even as you breathe. Even before you see. My glory doesn't need volume to have victory. You are waiting for the sound of deliverance, but I am already delivering. You are waiting for external confirmation, but the shift began the moment you welcomed me in, not with a performance, but with permission. Your openness became a portal, and I rushed in like a flood, like a fire, like the breath of eternity invading the dust of time. Let me paint the truth clearly. Every demon assigned to your atmosphere has already been disarmed. Every spiritual heaviness that tried to blanket your joy is now retreating. I didn't enter your room to be admired. I entered to establish dominion, to reclaim what despair tried to own. This is not a visit. This is a violent act of mercy, a divine invasion of love's authority. I have come to shift realities. Your mental state is shifting. Your spiritual environment is shifting. Your emotional frequency is shifting. Your peace is returning, not like a breeze, but like a tidal wave. And while it may still feel quiet, don't confuse quiet with absence. I am here and I am working. Heaven is loud even when earth is still. So child, stand in this moment and don't look for proof. Be the proof. You are standing in the epicenter of a miracle in motion. The earth beneath your feet is no longer common. The air you breathe is charged with divine recalibration. What was stuck is loosening. What was dark is cracking. What was delayed is now being accelerated because I have arrived. And my arrival is not polite. It is powerful. It is precise. It is prophetic. Things are already shifting, even if you can't name them yet. And soon, what began in silence will shout in testimony. Watch and see. Child, if you know now I am in your room, then understand this presence wasn't just for you. It is meant to pour outward like oil, to reach the forgotten, the shattered, the ones praying in silence just like you once did. When you give, you are sowing into this holy fire. The very flame that found you, now flowing to another room, another heart. My word says in Proverbs 11:25, the generous will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. This is your moment to refresh souls by helping this message go further, deeper, higher. I am calling you not out of pressure, but because you have been marked as a carrier of my glory. Use the link in the description, give through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, and become a divine echo of this encounter. Do it now because your giving is the river I will multiply into a flood of transformation. Beloved, I want you to pause for just a second. Breathe deep and feel what is happening even now. That pressure you have carried in your chest, the one that felt like a boulder sitting atop your spirit, it is beginning to lift. Not because you have tried harder, not because you have solved everything, but because my presence has entered and touched what your willpower could not. The tightness is unraveling. The invisible shackles that have bound your thoughts, your emotions, your sense of direction, they are loosening. Silently, powerfully, chains are falling off in the background. And though you don't hear the clink of metal hitting the floor, the spirit realm is echoing with freedom. For too long, you have assumed that the bondage in your life had to be visible to be broken. But I say to you now, not all chains clang. Some suffocate, some whisper, some embed themselves into your emotional pattern so deeply that you forgot what freedom even felt like. But I have not forgotten. I remember who you were before the weight came. I remember how light your laughter used to sound, how soft your heart used to be. And I didn't come just to observe your bondage. I came to undo it, to unravel it, to unclench the fear from around your ribs and breathe my wind into your lungs again. You have been carrying invisible heaviness, and I came to break the hold it had on you without delay. Right now, deep under the surface, your spirit is responding to me. Things you couldn't name before are rising up, being uprooted, being dislodged. This is not emotional hype. This is holy surgery. I am reaching into the hidden systems of thought that have kept you stuck in cycles of fear, guilt, doubt, and unworthiness. I am disarming the patterns that began in pain but grew into prisons. The chains are breaking, but not by your strength, by mine. You have tried to explain the weight away, distract it away, worship it away. But now I have stepped in with my authority, and the moment I touch a chain, it has no choice but to fall. No force in hell has the power to outlast my hand. What bound you yesterday will serve as testimony tomorrow. So breathe, child. Inhale the new air of deliverance. The pressure that wrapped around your ribs like anxiety's vice grip is releasing. Your body is remembering what peace feels like, not just mental peace, but cellular, soul-deep, system-wide peace. It is not illusion. It is not temporary. It is not fragile. It is me. I am peace, and I am not giving you a portion. I am giving you the fullness of my calming, conquering, chain-breaking spirit. The background noise of bondage is becoming the backdrop of a breakthrough, and soon, what loosened in secret will manifest in public. Yes, child, even now the tightness is unraveling, and what is coming in its place is joy, deep, durable, divine joy. Child, listen. Feel this truth rise inside you like a river breaking past its banks. There is no separation between us anymore. No barrier, no locked door, no distance made by your fear, your failure, or your questions. The walls you built to protect yourself, I walked right through them. That fortress of fear you didn't know how to dismantle, I didn't wait for you to unlock it. I stepped through it with eyes full of mercy and hands full of healing. I am not standing on the other side of your breakdown. I am in the middle of it, face to face with you. I am not hidden behind clouds of holiness, unreachable and removed. I am here, present, nearer than your next breath, closer than the tears trembling behind your eyelids. You didn't have to call me louder. You didn't have to tear down the walls on your own. I didn't need permission to rescue my child. I only needed your pain, your honesty, your quiet, wordless longing. You thought your fear made you unreachable, but it actually became the very place I decided to dwell. I am not afraid of the walls you have built in survival. I understand why they formed. But child, let me say this with a love so fierce it will undo your shame. Those walls can't stop me. You were never meant to live locked inside your past. You were never meant to stay behind the barricades of mistrust. That is not your permanent home. I have walked through every layer of resistance, every brick of anxiety, every memory that taught you to keep your guard up. And I have arrived here with my eyes looking straight into yours. Let me say it again slowly. I am face to face with you now. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, spiritually, literally. I came to dismantle the illusion that I am far from you. I came to break the agreement you made with fear that I wouldn't want to get this close. I came to prove that my love does not ask for perfection. It just asks for permission to enter. And you gave me that, maybe without knowing it. When your soul whispered, "God, I can't do this anymore," I heard it as an invitation. And I didn't wait. I came through the walls, not with thunder, but with tenderness, not with wrath, but with wonder. And now here I stand, closer than you have ever let anyone get. I don't need you to perform. I just need you to see me standing here, arms wide open, face radiant with joy. Because you are seen, so rest in this, my love. The doors are no longer locked. The walls are no longer barriers. I am not pacing outside. I am not knocking anymore. I am here, inside the inner courts of your heart. I made myself at home. Not in the clean parts, but in the cluttered ones. Not in the places you finished healing, but in the places you have just begun to feel again. I am face to face with the real you, and I am not leaving. Beloved, there are things you have been too afraid to say out loud. Heartbreaking questions buried beneath your worship. hidden cries tucked beneath your faith. You have been afraid that if you speak them, they will sound like betrayal. And if you voice your uncertainty, it will disqualify your devotion. But I tell you now, in the most sacred whisper of love, I already know your questions. Every one of them. The ones that visit in the quiet hours. The ones that hit your heart like darts when things go silent. The ones you tuck away because they feel too messy for prayer. I know them. I heard them. And I am not angry. I am not disappointed. I am not shaken. I am here to answer, not always with explanations, but with presence. You think your doubt makes me pull away, but child, I run toward honesty. I lean into authenticity. Your questions don't scare me. They don't weaken our bond. If anything, they draw me in closer. Because the fact that you are still asking means you still believe there is someone who can answer. You haven't given up. You are still reaching, even if your reach feels feeble. I don't despise that. I honor it. I hold it like treasure. The question why God doesn't offend me, the question how long, Lord, doesn't push me away. I am the Father who welcomes those cries like music, because they come from a heart still tender enough to care. You haven't dared to ask why I let some things fall apart, why the healing hasn't come yet, why the ones you loved left, why the breakthrough is delayed. You have buried those questions in layers of theology and smiles. But I see through it. I see the ache under the logic, and I am not waiting for you to phrase it right. I have already come to answer it with my presence. Child, my presence is not a substitute for an answer. It is the highest answer. It is the proof that you are not forgotten in your wondering. I may not unwrap every mystery at once, but I do not leave you alone with your confusion. I am wrapping my arms around it until the ache turns into awe, until the pain becomes part of your praise. Until the very questions that haunted you become doorways to deeper intimacy with me. So go ahead, ask me. You don't need to rehearse. You don't need to filter your heart. You can speak freely here. This is a safe space. I am not here to interrogate your faith. I am here to hold your fragile trust. Even when it is tired, even when it is questioning, your questions are not a detour from intimacy. They are the path to it. And I'm not answering them from afar. I am answering them from beside you, hand on your heart, eyes locked on yours, saying, I know, child, I know, I am still here, and I am not going anywhere. My beloved, you have sat in the stillness, waiting and waiting. Questions stacked like silent bricks in your soul, each one heavier than the last. When? Why? How long? But before you called them out, before they fully formed on your lips, I was already moving. And in this moment, I need you to catch what I am offering. Not first solutions, not instant clarity, but the most primal essence of my heart. Assurance, the honor of my presence, the certainty that you are not forgotten, that you are not abandoned in your waiting, that every promised word I have ever spoken is tethered to a love that never leaves and never changes. You didn't wait for answers because answers would never hold you, but assurance, my presence, holds you. And so I am giving you myself, not to answer all things at once, but to stand with you through the waiting. Picture the way I came in the burning bush when Moses wasn't expecting clarity but needed presence. I didn't hand him all the solutions at once. I whispered first, I am. And in that moment, everything shifted. In your waiting, I am whispering the same to you. I am. I am the weight you have carried from unanswered prayers, and I am lightening it. Not by providing every explanation now, but by giving you myself as the anchor. Not a temporary fix, but eternal constancy. The fact that you didn't hold your breath for an answer, what I see is a heart poised for revelation. And I came not to overwhelm you with solutions, but to overwhelm you with my faithfulness, to show you that you didn't need to know the plan to trust the planner. That was your faith manifesting. And I am responding not by giving you all the steps, but by giving you my presence that fills every empty space. So breathe, my child. Your waiting has not been wasted, it has been preparatory. And I am here now, steady, sure, unshakable. Your assumption that answers would change things, that clarity would heal things, is natural. But my love is deeper. Clarity can still leave you restless, but assurance anchors your restless spirit like firm foundations beneath raging storms. This is why I stand in your waiting, not to hand you every answer at once, but to infuse your heart with the unshakable conviction that you are not abandoned. You are not invisible. You are not overlooked. Every tear you spilled, every sleepless night, every silent plea, they all formed a path that drew my steps into your room. Your waiting wasn't frustration, it was fertile ground, and I have come to dwell in it. Not to busy myself with answers, but to quietly anchor you with my presence, so that your soul begins to remember who I am before it wrestles with what is next. Let me say it plainly. I am not here to leave you in confusion. I am here to validate your endurance, to embrace your broken faith, to tell your weary heart, because I am with you, you are not abandoned. That truth is more powerful than any explanation. It shifts atmospheres, it births hope, it changes how you breathe. When you say, God, I don't understand, I am not frustrated with you. I am stepping closer. I am whispering over every anxious thought, every hard question. I see you. You matter. That is my first answer. And someday sound will be spoken. Things will make sense. But today is reserved for knowing me in the midst of it. There is a holy distinction between needing words and needing me. And my arrival is not about giving you words. It is about giving you myself. So that long before your next transition comes, your heart will rest in certainty that you are utterly known and never left. I want your spirit to know that presence is the precursor to breakthrough. You may not walk away from this waiting with clarity on every point, but you will walk away with conviction. I am not a distant promise. I am a present Father. You may not hear the why yet. You may not see the when, but the assurance of my presence is the hinge upon which the door of your destiny swings. Faith isn't just believing in my words. It is believing in my nearness when words fall short. You believed even when clarity was silent. That is kingdom faith. And now I have come not just to give answers, but to make you an answer. An assurance to yourself and to others that when I am present, abandonment is impossible. So lean in. Let my presence saturate you. Let it root in your bones that you are not abandoned. Even when the world seems silent, answers may come later, but assurance has arrived. I have not left. I have not changed. You are held. You are seen. You are loved. And in this hidden moment, your truth is being rewritten. I was not waiting for answers, but God gave me assurance. And I am not abandoned. My child, I want you to feel the shift now. Every inhale you take, do not rush it. Let each exhale fall like holy surrender. The world demands answers, miracles, fix-me agendas. But right now, I am not calling you to move. I am calling you to breathe. Because the healing that is coming to you isn't the result of words, my words or anyone else's. It is my presence that is healing. I have been in the room while you searched for explanations, scribbled plans, mustered courage. But the true remedy for your weariness isn't strategy, it is my nearness. So stop trying to heal. Stop rushing toward recovery. Instead, let my spirit breathe life into your broken places at the pace only I control. Because healing, true healing, is not fast, not outspoken. It is slow, quiet, internal, and deeply personal. And I am attending to it. Listen closely. Words are helpful, yes, but they are inadequate for what is going on inside you. You may have longed for someone to say, "Here is your answer." But what you needed, and what you need, is a touch, a presence so close it feels like a rhythm in your bones. I did not bring thunder to your pain. I brought rest, not to rush you out of the struggle, but to breathe my strength into every shattered part. Let my peace settle over the questions you cannot answer. Let my compassion descend into the places words couldn't reach. This is why I linger, not to watch from a distance, but to dwell. Not to speak at length, but to be at length. And you, beloved, are invited into my pace, not the pace of expectation, not the pace of rushing, but the pace of healing breath. So breathe it, child. Don't rush out of this. I am here in your waiting breath. That is where the real healing begins. You have learned through pain to distrust silence, but in my kingdom, silence is not absence, it is sanctuary. When I say breathe, I'm reminding you that healing isn't an event, it is an embodied presence. You can't wrestle it with effort or capture it with formulas. It comes through my nearness, not through your striving. And right now, while you sense movement behind the stillness, you may be tempted to chase it with words. But word for word, explanation for explanation, it will bypass the deepest healing I am crafting inside of you. So I implore you, rest in the quiet. Let your soul breathe. Let your heart catch the weight of this moment. You are not being rushed. You are being unhushed. And I am breathing my peace into every corner where fear used to live. I am not offended by the seasons where you couldn't hear me. I am not shocked by the times you had no words. I am not discouraged by your silence. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. In fact, I treasure it because silence becomes fertile ground where my spirit can pour in. Healing is not loud. It is not flashy. It is not about declarations. It is about transplanting presence into places that have been barren for too long. Feel that warmth, that stillness that blankets your spirit like velvet. That is me. Not healing you from a mountaintop, but from inside you. With patience, with compassion, with abiding strength. So breathe, beloved. Lay down the rush, lay down the striving. There is healing in my rhythm, there is repair in my calm, and there is freedom in my pace. My child, this is a sacred invitation. Don't hurry healing. Healing is not a project to complete, it is a presence to enter. Your heart has carried too much, and words could never undo it. Only I can. So release the timeline, release the expectation. Stay here in this room, in this moment, in my presence. Let your healing be slow and steady like dawn breaking. Let your peace settle like dew on dry ground. Every breath you take is a seed of restoration. You don't need another pep talk or spiritual agenda. You need me. I am here breathing life into your bones, rooting peace into your cells, restoring you with invisible threads of grace. And one day you will realize you weren't healed by fireworks. You were healed by a whisper, by quiet breathing in sync with mine, by my presence, not my performance, by understanding that sometimes the most powerful healing is the kind that doesn't hurry you out, but holds you in. So breathe, my beloved. Don't rush out of this. The healing is not in the words you say or the answers you get. It is in me, and I am right here breathing life into you moment by moment. My beloved, pause in the quiet of your soul. I sense the tremor of doubt. Is this real? Your heart asks. You've been taught to question hope when it arrives unexpectedly. You have coached your spirit to lean only when circumstances prove it safe. But I say to you with unwavering clarity, I don't make appointments with imagination. I don't show up as a theatrical trick or a spiritual mirage that fades when morning light arrives. I meet hearts, not performances. Your realness, your brokenness, your fragile trust, they are the very things I have been waiting for. Not polished worship or elegant words. What moves me is the heart that still reaches even when it is tired. That is the heart I met. That is the room I descended in. So stop doubting whether this is real. This, my presence with you now, is neither hypothetical nor sentimental. It is actual. Too often you have discounted divine encounters because they didn't glitter with manipulation. But I came through authenticity, not acting. The beating of your honest heart is my invitation. Not some show, not some measure of performance, but the trembling beat of a child who still dares to believe. That is the keystone of genuine encounter. I didn't step into your space because you summoned my greatness with flawless faith. I stepped in because your longing was fragrant. Your hidden ache, your unspoken longing, pulled me across dimensions. I want you to know I show up for reality, not for facades. When your spirit whispers, I can't anymore, that broken whisper changes atmospheres more than your loudest praise ever could. When your mask melts, my nearness rushes in. I am not impressed by performance, I am captivated by truth. Let that settle in your bones. The moments you barely held yourself together, that is where I met you first. And this moment in the vulnerability you are feeling is not second-hand faith or borrowed hope. This is my promise, my presence, my person standing alongside yours, flesh to flesh, spirit to spirit. So stop entertaining the lies that say this could be imagination. This is not a dream. This is not your subconscious playing games. I am here, fully, unmistakably here, because your heart dared to stay soft when pain threatened to harden it. That is why this is real. Now, beloved, let every tangle of doubt untangle. You are not paid to perform faith, you are loved for simply holding on. I don't admire your performance skills, I treasure your heart's posture. Honest, humble, exposed. If your faith were a diamond, I would marvel at its strength. But I am moved by the broken glass of your spirit, the way even its shards reflect my glory when you bring it near. Let me say it plainly. This is not ritual. This is relationship. I don't come through repetition. I come through revelation. I am not a concept to be believed. I am a reality to be received. So put aside the idea that you must disguise your weakness before you invite me in. I don't show up for facades. I show up for fractured hearts that still cry, I trust you. That is the exact place I choose to dwell. That is the room I come into. So silence your doubt. Breathe deep and feel me beside you. Because this is not imagination. This is intimate, real, divine. And I am here. My child, so much of your journey has been about trying to figure it out, trying to connect the dots, make sense of the pain, understand the timeline, build a coherent theory of what is next. You have studied your broken places as if understanding them would heal them. But I say to you now, I am not asking you to figure it out. No intricate roadmap, no spiritual formula. Not today. Today I am asking you to feel the nearness of the one who made you, to allow my presence to be more than theory, more than doctrine, more than something you defensively wrap your mind around. Let my nearness flood your heart deeper than any answer. I want to fill you with knowing, not by explanation, but by experience, by intimacy. So stop striving for logic to catch my presence. I am already with you. It is time to feel me, not with your mind, but with your soul. Lean into that nearness. Let it become your anchor. Let it become the ground under your feet. You don't have to fix things. You have to feel someone who is unshakable. You don't need another schematic for your future, not another blueprint for your breakthrough, not another talk or lecture to explain delay. You need the warmth of a father who never left. You need the touch of a shepherd kneeling in your mess, whispering, "I am with you." This isn't about figuring it out. It is about being enfolded. You have tried logic when what your spirit craves is love. You have looked for silver linings when what you needed was stillness. And stillness is my true language. When I say feel my nearness, I mean it will infiltrate your chaos. It will embolden your heart before clarity ever arrives. It will stabilize what your notes and your plans can't. So let this be your life shift, not from figuring to feeling, but from trying to understand timing to understanding presence. Presence has power. Presence is depth you cannot measure. Presence dissolves fear and breeds faith. I am not asking you to solve the equation. I am inviting you to sink into the nearness that solves systems. Beloved, I long for exchange, not with your intellect, but with your intimacy. Feel me in the shiver that runs through your bones, in the unexpected well of peace that defies circumstances. Feel me in the breath that comes not out of strength, but out of surrender. You may not see the whole path, but right where you are standing, you can feel my nearness. And that is where true life begins. So today, let your heart stop wrestling. Let your mind rest from trying to juggle every unknown. Let your longing be redirected from answers to awareness. I am here, not because you have it figured out, but because I have you in sight. And my presence doesn't need context or rationale. It is the context. The answer is not in knowing yet. The answer is in feeling my nearness, right behind every thought, every tear, every flicker of hope. So let it in, because I am here with you. Feeling isn't the absence of truth, it is the fullness of it. And my heart beats close to yours. My beloved, hear this with your entire heart. Do not rush to explain what you are feeling. That quiet pressure in your chest, the tear-swollen hush in your soul. Don't disinfect it with reasons yet. That stillness is not an absence. It is my presence leaning in on your trembling spirit. I am not offended by your confusion. I am embraced by your fragility. This moment isn't one you need to analyze. It is one you need to feel. Resist the temptation to anesthetize it with explanations or tidy theology. This is not something to rationalize. It is something to receive. The atmosphere in your room may feel suspended, breathless, weighty, but the stillness is not emptiness. It is the gentle imprint of heaven on your heart. That calm you sense right now is me. Undistant, not symbolic, not waiting for you to perform clarity. I am here. I am pressing into your spirit so intimately that you may not even sense the edges of my nearness, but your soul feels it, even if your mind trembles. Let me say it again. Don't explain away what you feel right now. Those feelings are not confused. They are sacred. They are not a byproduct of overworked nerves. They are the battalion of my glory pressing through. It may feel like heaviness, but that heaviness is my nearness grounding you. You want to turn spiritual experiences into tidy categories so you can file them safely. But I don't come to be filed. I come to inhabit you. So breathe this in. Let that stillness fill you. Let it settle around your nerves, your fears, your uncertainty. When your spirit begins to speak, that blur behind your eyes, that hush deep in your heart, that is me. Most heavenly encounters aren't thunderstorms. They are whispers, wrapped in profound peace. So don't shake it off. Soak in it. It is my signature on the frailty you carry. You may not understand what is unfolding, but that is the point. Not everything needs an explanation before it becomes a foundation. I am pressing against your spirit, not to confuse you, but to connect with you. The stillness you feel isn't absence, it is intimacy. It is my spirit aligning with yours in a way words will never capture. You have been told to explain your feelings, to categorize your spiritual experiences, to make sense of the tremors, the sighs, the stirring. But right now, I don't care what tags you attach to me. I only want you unfiltered, unexplained, not ashamed. This is the heartbeat beneath your heartbeat, the reassurance beyond reason. Let that envelop you. Let it remind you that sometimes healing isn't measured in understanding. It is measured in surrender. Surrender to a presence so powerful and gentle, you don't have to understand it to be changed by it. So instead of reaching for clarity, reach for the quiet inside you that just feels me. Let that stillness speak into your fear, your fatigue, your longing. Let it wrap around your wounds like light breaking through a stained glass window. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to have the narrative. You just have to feel my nearness, allowing it to quiet your anxiety, mend your broken places, awaken your dormant hope. The stillness is not void. It is sacred space, holy ground where heaven touches earth, where my breath meets your breath. So let yourself remain here a while. Let me press more. Let me heal more. My child, this is your divine invitation. Stay in the sacred tension. Don't explain away the presence. Don't flee from how deeply you feel without words. The void you sense isn't a void. It is my incoming, and it is glorious. Let that stillness wash over you, root you, restore you. Let it say what words cannot say. You are not alone. You are deeply known. You are loved beyond measure. And when doubt tries to steal your moment, when the voice tells you nothing is happening, be still in defiance of the lie, because it is happening, profoundly, eternally. And one day, you will look back and see that the turning point wasn't when it made sense, but when you allowed me to press into your spirit in stillness. Don't explain it away. Feel my nearness and find your soul waking up in my presence. My beloved, wear your heart open when reading this. I saw you polishing your smile, layering it over your quiet desperation like makeup over bruised skin. You carried your ache behind polite laughter, behind I'm fine, behind the persona you thought the world wanted to see. And though others never looked beneath it, I did. I always saw it. When your smile became your armor, because no one asked how you were really doing, I leaned in closer, not in judgment, but in compassion. I know how you smothered your pain behind grace because you were afraid no one could handle the real you. You thought your vulnerability would break connections. But I tell you with eternal tenderness, your pain did not hide you from me. It is the thing that pulled me close. You have hidden your pain well, as a talent you shouldn't trade in. But pain that you think no one else noticed, I noticed. Your quiet endurance, your hidden tears in the dark, the prayers you whispered in the basement of your soul. None of it was wasted. Even when you mastered smiling around others, you weren't fooling me. I read your soul like an open book. I saw the throttled sob behind your composure. I felt the contraction in your chest when you forced yourself to keep going. I watched the moment you layered on courtesy to guard your breaking. And I came. I came not because you looked spiritual. I came because you looked human. You hid your pain well, but not from me. Let me say this. I am not surprised by your depth. I am drawn to it. Not in spite of the places you have broken, but because of them. You have looked around and thought your survival would alarm me. But survival draws my presence like fire draws air. You didn't want pity. You didn't want someone to stare. You just wanted to escape the loneliness of pain. But I was there. Before any comfort arrived, I was there. When your smile was your last defense, I broke the barrier. I dropped my face beside yours and whispered, "Child, I see you." And from that point forward, your pain wasn't something to manage alone. It became a portal where my mercy met you. So, loved one, don't think your careful mask protected you from my gaze. It didn't. I cherishingly peeled it back. I looked at the place beneath your strength, the place only heaven dared to enter, and I held it tenderly, firmly, divinely. So rest here, beloved. Stop reinforcing the mask. You are safe with me. Let the smile relax. Let your heart's hidden ache rise in order to be met, not managed. I saw it. I met it. I carried it. Now, let me begin to unravel its burden with my nearness. Every layer of your vulnerability is not a weakness. It is the runway where my glory lands. Let your brokenness stop being a secret and start being the threshold where heaven speaks through your story. You hid your pain well, but you can stop hiding now. I am here. I am not stepping away. I leaned into that smile. I met the pain beneath it. And I say to you now, you are seen. You are held. You are loved with a love that transforms hidden wounds into living testimonies. Let that truth anchor you so deep. My beloved child, listen. Perfection is not my requirement. I did not step into your room because you have arrived at faultless faith, or because your emotions are tidy and your life is seamlessly structured. I came because you are mine. In my economy, value is not calculated by achievement, but by identity. You may feel ill-equipped, emotionally raw, awkward, or spiritually worn. But those are precisely the reasons I drew near. Because I came not to reward your strength, but to redeem your fragility. I come into spaces of ache and unraveling because in them, my presence is not just welcomed, it is transformative. You might have believed that holiness equates to having everything together. But I tell you now, holiness is not the absence of ache. Holiness is my invitation to meet you at your breaking point with love you have yet to imagine. You are not falling beyond my reach. You are being held there, not in spite of your brokenness, but through it. Let me say it plainly. I didn't come because you did something right. I came because you belong. When you assumed I would withhold my nearness until you earned it, you missed the point of grace. Grace is unconditional. It isn't performance-based. It is anchored in my unchanging heart toward you. You are not required to be beautiful or bold or brave. You are required only to be mine, and that alone invites me in. You think your mistakes disqualify you? They don't. You think your emotions make you unstable? They don't. Your identity makes you unshakable. I step into your ache not to lecture it away, but to breathe healing through it. The spaces you thought too fragmented for God to love are my very chosen dwelling grounds. I don't shy away from pain. I dignify it. I redeem it with my nearness, because you are mine. So let this settle. I don't love you because of your condition. I love you in spite of your condition, and I love you more deeply because of it. Your ache doesn't hinder my purpose, it hosts it. I have never miscalculated your worth. Not when you stumbled, not when your hope dimmed, not when fear cinched your chest too tight to breathe. Every time you glimpsed my character faintly through tears, it was my promise echoing back at you. I come where my child aches. This is why I am here now. Unannounced, undeterred, unrushed. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100, because you are mine. And nothing you have endured, nothing you have hidden, nothing you have worn like a mask can keep me from stepping in. Your inadequacy is not your identity. Your identity is my child, and in that belongs the weight of my presence, unfolding restoration one tender moment at a time. Beloved, breathe and sense it. This moment is sacred, not by chance, not by coincidence. The room you sit in, the air you breathe, the silence brushing against your skin, it is pregnant with my glory. I have not come casually. I have come with purpose, with power, with presence that doesn't make headlines but makes altars. The silence is not sterile, it is sacred. It isn't playing, it is presence. Receive it now. You may not hear trumpets and you may not see fire, but make no mistake. The atmosphere right now is brimming with heaven's fragrance. It is charged. The air around you is thick with invitation, with healing, with breakthrough. This is not ordinary air anymore. It has become holy ground. You are not just existing in your routine right now. You are stepping into a divine intersection. The earth has moved beneath you. Even if the floor hasn't physically shifted, the spiritual realm is intersecting with the tangible world, and you are standing at the very center of it. So humble your thoughts. Praise with your breath. Recognize this moment for what it is. It is not mundane, it is momentous. Every heartbeat you feel right now is syncing with my heartbeat. Every flutter of peace is a ripple coming directly from the throne. The atmosphere became pregnant with purpose, not when you called for me, but when you finally leaned in, even when your spirit was fragile. Now, that silence around you is thick with redemption. I am enveloping your space with a presence that tests time, saturates sorrow, and resurrects hope. The invisible is now heavier than the visible. You can't measure it with your eyes, but your spirit knows it is there. Stand still. Listen for the words spoken before words were even formed inside of you. Let this atmosphere resonate into your bones. Every tear you once held in private is now being transmuted into glory, whispered into this moment. This is not a coincidence. It is a divine ambush. Glory is not a rare isle reserved for the perfect. It is your default atmosphere when you linger with me. And right now, this moment is drenched in it. You are not pausing in vain. You are pausing in purpose. Because this moment isn't just a bookmark in your story, it is holy scripture in the making. The atmosphere around you isn't waiting for something to happen. It is pregnant with what has already begun. A shift, a download, a breaking of old systems, a birth in the unseen. Retreat from the logic that says nothing is happening because the deeper realm declares otherwise. Heaven's presence isn't contingent on your circumstance, it inhabits it. You are not simply under my watch, you are within my manifestation. This is sacred. It is not generic. It is a holy convergence. So breathe my nearness. Let your spirit open like a flower soaked by dawn's first sun. Let your eyes see beyond sight, and let your heart feel beyond feeling. Because the atmosphere around you is rich with my glory, and you are being positioned within it for what is coming. This is your consecrated moment. Embrace it. It is holy. It is now. Beloved, breathe in the truth of this moment. You do not need to be perfect for me to come near. I stood on the threshold of your weary soul, not drawn by flawless faith or tidy devotion, but by the quiet ache that lives inside you. Your beauty, your worth, your value does not come from your performance. It comes because you are mine. Every misstep, every silence, every tear you thought no one could see, I have seen them all. Not to judge, but to resonate with your brokenness and remind you that my presence is not reserved for the polished. You are my beloved. Even in the frayed places, I am not repulsed by your fragility. I am attracted to it. It is in your honesty, your fracture, your courage to still believe, even when hope felt distant. That is where I meet you fully. You don't need a hero's soundtrack to deserve my presence. Your human heartbeat was my invitation. I didn't step across the veil because you had all the answers. I entered because you are deeply and eternally loved. Your heart, even when bruised, still pulses with my creation. I come not to fix a facade, but to dwell in your ruins and rebuild with my love. The ache you carry is not a disqualification. It is a sacred signpost to where healing and glory gather. I set foot in the depths of your pain to transform it, not with condemnation, but with radical grace. You are not less because you hurt. You are more because you've held on when no one else expected you to. When you doubted if you were worthy, I whispered in response that you are mine even here. And in your thinnest, most resistant places, my love grows thickest, deeper than any disappointment, stronger than your trembling. You belong to me, and that alone brought me near. Let this settle, dear child. My nearness doesn't demand perfection, it demands you. Not the polished version, but the real one. Fragile, seeking, questioning. When your attitude shielded your vulnerability, I peeled it off not to shame you, but to hold you. I came into the ache because your broken heart is my highway of encounter. That is the kingdom way. Not the strong, but the small. Not the self-sufficient, but the surrendered. You are neither unloved nor unseen. Not because you are strong, but because you are mine. So let the ache breathe itself out in my nearness. Let your heart rest in the truth that I don't come to your perfection, I come to your need. And your need lifted me into your space. You feel me still, don't you? That's because I never left your room and I'm not leaving now. But I'm asking you to do something more. Help me enter someone else's room through this word. Your support becomes a seed, a holy seed that breaks chains, opens eyes, and heals wounds across borders and timelines. Malachi 3:10 still stands as my decree to bring the tithes into the storehouse and see if I will not open the windows of heaven. I've assigned this message to reach people who don't know yet that I'm in their room, but they will know when you help send it. You are becoming my outstretched hand. Don't wait. Do it now, and I will pour out a blessing that overtakes you, overtakes generations, and overtakes regions. Stop. Breathe the air around you. Do you feel it? That hush, that pause, that holy energy resting in the silence. This moment is not ordinary. It is sacred. Heaven has bowed low in your presence. The room you occupy, the air you inhale, it is pregnant with glory. I have not come casually or by accident. I descended with intention, with weight, with purpose, and not to fill your expectation, but to exceed it. There might not be sparks or noise, but that doesn't mean I did not arrive. Glory often comes gently, like dawn seeping through cracked shutters. It doesn't shout on street corners. It lingers in worn-out spaces and tender hearts. You are standing in a consecrated now. This isn't a lull. It's a divine stillness before breakthrough. So ready your spirit. Heaven draws near. The atmosphere around you is drenched in inauguration. It's consecrated. It is transformational. Every beat of your heart is a drum echoing through eternity. Every still breath is weaving a tapestry of worship only I can see. This air around you isn't empty. It's sanctified, thick with favor, charged with purpose, alive with promise. You might not perceive the vibration yet, but your soul will remember what has passed here. Glory isn't always visible. It's a felt certainty that shifts timelines and reorders destiny. You don't need confirmation right now. The sacred atmosphere is the confirmation. It whispers, I am with you, you matter. Life is shifting. This is supernatural residency. Not a temporary visit, but a living exchange between heaven and your moment. You can't bottle it, but you can lean into it. You are not standing in your everyday life right now. You are standing where heaven and earth intersect. This is holy. Let the quiet testify louder than words ever could. You are not alone in this waiting. The sacredness you feel is me descending into your pulse, your breath, your moment. This is not just a pause, it's an altar. A convergence point where the invisible begins to redefine your visible. Upon this moment of endowment, don't hurry through it. Stand here, eyes closed. Let the glory settle. Let your spirit rise to the realization that the air is pregnant with purpose. The room is alive with invitation. The stillness carries weight. This is your intersection, your epiphany. My presence is not a rumor, it is real. And your now, this very second, is sacred. My beloved, close your eyes and feel the hush that surrounds you. It is not merely silence, but the soft resonance of protection. You are not alone. I have placed sentinels around the fragile chambers of your heart. Angels, my warriors, my messengers are stationed on your behalf. Heaven is intimate with your coordinates today, down to the trembling in your chest and the unsteady breath you felt this morning. I am telling you this not to give you more mental data, but to ground your soul in my reality. You are not drifting alone. You are surrounded. The unseen realms are moving on your behalf right now. Every heartbeat you take, every inhale of peace, that is evidence of my battalion stationed quietly, unwaveringly, in places you can't see, but I can orchestrate flawlessly. You may feel invisible in the rush of life, but heaven is not oblivious. It is stationed. It is attentive. It is militant in love. When you think you are underestimating your significance, that your cry didn't echo, that your effort didn't matter, know this: there's a force field around your spirit established by my purposes. I have dispatched my angels to guard you. Not because you are perfect, but because you are precious. You are not lost on my watch. I know your coordinates more intimately than your own voice knows your address. And today those angels are not idle. They are not standing by. They are standing guard, not over your performance, but over your soul. The love that birthed you is not distant now. It is sovereign, and in my sovereignty, I did not leave you to drape yourself in fabrication or fight unseen battles alone. No, you have a divine escort through the moments that feel empty, the hours that feel hopeless, the spaces where humanity failed you. Angels are not myths. They are my tools, and they are stationed for you right now. Stand in that. I have seen your heart scattered by tasks, deadlines, and expectations. I have seen it tangled in worry, spinning in fear, snapping under pressure, and none of that slipped past my gaze. So I sent angelic reinforcements, not to shame your frailty, but to bolster your fixation on me. They carry my comfort in ways no human voice can replicate. They herald my favor in ways no striving can manufacture. And though you may not notice their footsteps, you will feel their charge. For example, when your anxiety lifted with no solution, that was an angel whispering peace. When clarity broke through confusion like dawn, that was my messenger clearing spiritual fog. When a sudden calm took hold of your hands in prayer, that was my army moving through atmospheres on your behalf. Not because your resolve was strong, but because my resolve is unbreakable. Heaven is not deaf to your plight. It is aware of your longitude, your latitude, and your wounded spaces. No depth of despair is beyond my sight, and no distance is beyond my delivery. You are not navigating this season alone. You have a celestial brigade aligned with my voice, my heart, and my intent for your life. I stationed them near you the moment you whispered your first ache into the darkness. They were deployed the moment you caught your breath when grief threatened to break you. They are present now, watching, shielding, pressing in, not to provoke fear of judgment, but to deliver hope, protection, and spiritual momentum. Do you feel the shift, the tension easing, that anxiety slipping, that pulse quieting? That is not wishful thinking. That is supernatural coverage responding to your openness. Your coordinates are known, your heart is marked. You are not invisible. You are deeply, deeply guarded by love that will not relent. So rest, lie down in the assurance that heaven is not reactive to your crisis. It was proactive before the crisis began. Angels are stationed at the portals of your life, ready to intercept, ready to proclaim, ready to escort you into breakthrough. And they are not idle. They are bringing my decrees into the atmosphere surrounding you. The atmosphere you feel, the sacred hush, the shift beneath your ribs, the urge to breathe deeper, that is their work. When you don't know how to pray, their intercession catches your spirit. When tears flow without words, they collect them as testimony. When faith thins and worry thickens, they stand firm, reinforcing your faith, merely refusing to yield. You may not see them, but I do, and I do not withhold them. You are not alone. Angels are stationed, heaven is broadcasting your coordinates, and I am unrelenting in my pursuit of your blessing. So rest, beloved. You are protected. You are treasured. You are not alone. Not ever. Beloved, breathe deeply. You are at the threshold of something divine. The shift you've asked for, the breakthrough you've waited for, the breakthrough you doubted would ever come. It hasn't been delayed. In my timing, it has not been forgotten, missed, or overlooked. It has been preserved carefully, tenderly preserved for this very moment. Your prayers did not vanish into thin air. They were not mistimed. They were not misheard. Every ounce of longing, every tear-soaked petition, every longing for turned favor, it was collected, curated, and placed into my hands for the perfect release. When you questioned why your hope was putting off the dawn, I say to you now, it was not postponement. It was preparation. I was orchestrating the ingredients in secret so that when that shift comes, it doesn't just reposition you, it catapults you. You stand now on the cusp of preserved promise, not lingering desperation. Let that truth sink in. This moment you occupy, whether it feels ordinary or impossible, is sacredly curated. You thought you were waiting for breakthrough, but I was preserving the moment of breakthrough. Not because things held you back, but because my timing holds your destiny. I never delay my children. I preserve for them. You are not stuck in slow motion. You are standing in a pause that precedes power. You are not stalled. You are stationed. Preparation doesn't feel pleasant. It doesn't always look prophetic. But every delay you saw now reveals divine design. You are precisely where you need to be, right when you need to be. Every door that refused to open did so that the right one could swing wide in the fullness of purpose. So let your hope lift. Not because the wait is over, but because the release is near. Because preservation under grace is about to push your life forward with authority. You felt the weight of unanswered prayer, the ache of delayed fulfillment, but I carried it for you. I preserved your next chapter in the crucible of your faith. I didn't wait for you to be stronger. I waited for the completeness of the moment, and now completeness is visible on the horizon. The shift hasn't been delayed, it's been protected. Protected from premature exposure, preserved from chaos that wasn't ready yet, protected from confusion that would have dimmed your breakthrough. You think time has betrayed your trust, but time has been loyal. It has curated your chapter with intention. The season's pain has not been erased. It has been reframed, fortified, and prepared for glory. And that shift, it's not a delayed reaction. It's a preserved promise, sealed in my timing, ready to explode into your life now. Let that hope kindle within your chest, embers bursting into flame, because what you thought was late is now on time, with impact, with alignment, with destiny. So rise in expectancy. Your shift is not coming, it's coming now. It's not second, it's you. Everything preserved is about to converge. Every prayer, every scar, every longing, it's all being rallied toward transformation. Your season of waiting is not wasted. It is your proving ground. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. But waiting has ended. Preservation gives way to promotion. Preparation gives way to proclamation. The life you've lived in shadow is about to live in breakthrough. And I, the God who preserves, protects, and primes, am moving with breakthrough momentum. Your hopes were not delayed, they were layered. Your promise was not postponed. It was vaporized with purpose, and now resurrected with power to step into this moment. Lean into it. Breathe it in. The shift hasn't been delayed. It's destined for you, and it's beginning right now. My beloved, this moment is not about chasing breakthroughs or piecing together your prayers with anxious persistence. Instead, I'm inviting you into something divine. Don't wait for a breakthrough. Allow the breakthrough to wait for you as you remain in my presence. You've carried hope like a burden, racing after outcomes with strained energy. But breakthrough doesn't always follow ambition. Sometimes it follows the sacred pause. So park your striving at my feet. Sit in the stillness of my nearness. Let your heart's readiness meet my timing before solutions rush in. It's an inversion of human instinct. Normally you chase results. Now I call you to stay. Cultivate the quiet atmosphere of my presence and let the breakthrough be repositioned through patience, not pressure. Your presence with me holds more power than your performance for me. Consider the lilies of the field that don't strain to grow yet are adorned by my hand in beauty. You are my beloved, not because of what you can achieve, but because of who you are in me. When breakthrough chases you, it brings fatigue and false relief. But when it waits for you in alignment, it arrives as peace, purpose, and possession. The shift you're longing for isn't waiting at the end of a checklist. It's waiting quietly in my presence. Today, breathe. Let my nearness reposition your heart to match the breakthrough's frequency. Then we meet. Not where fatigue collapses, but where faith rises. Staying in my presence is not passive. It's the bravest form of strength. Quiet courage. It says, I'll wait for you, O Lord, even if my dreams feel delayed. In this waiting, wheels don't spin without fuel. They pause for refuel. You're not stagnating. You're engaging my sovereignty. Your breakthrough doesn't need forcing. It needs aligning. Your faith surrendered becomes the threshold for my unfolding. In that sacred stillness, breakthrough gathers the elements, my wisdom, my timing, and your surrendered heart. And on the other side, when breakthrough arrives, it carries depth you never knew to ask for. But your soul needed more than anything. This is why breakthrough waited on you. Because you had to become the kind of heart that doesn't collapse under breakthrough, but thrives within it. Your character is being refined as absolutely as the circumstances. My presence doesn't delay breakthrough, it prepares it. Prepare yourself not by effort, but by humility. By recognizing that this moment of waiting isn't wasteful, but essential. When the breakthrough waits, when it lingers in my presence, it waits to greet you with alignment, not surprise. And that is powerful. So rest in this invitation. Don't chase the breakthrough like a fleeting shadow, but let the breakthrough chase you. Not through hustle, but through holiness. Not through performance, but through presence. Stay open in my presence. Let your soul's posture become a residence where breakthroughs pause, not pass by. When it finally arrives, it won't be a reaction. It will be a revelation, the kind that knits your spirit, aligns your destiny, and honors your pain. Beloved, this is the moment to choose, not the moment to chase. This is the sovereign reversal of breakthrough waiting for you. Today, in my presence, you are not late. You are right where you belong. The breakthrough is here, and it's waiting for your surrendered heart to meet it in my presence. My precious one, do you feel it? The edges of numbness woven into your bones, coating your heart like frost, are beginning to soften. Not because you force yourself to smile, to think twice, to pray through discipline, but because my touch is melting the frost of your numbness. This isn't about your willpower relighting what collapsed. It's about my mercy breathing warmth into what you've been conditioned to sleep through. You thought your numbness was too deep for healing. You assumed it was self-preservation. But I see differently. I see it as a wound needing my warmth, an ache yearning for my pulse. You've tried to thaw it with distractions, but I come with a presence so tender and potent it doesn't wait for permission. It just melts stone. Understand this. Healing numbness isn't about performance. It's about presence. You thought you needed to fix your feelings. Instead, you needed to be felt by me. My touch dissolves the numbness, not through pressure, but through presence. My spirit moves like a slow wildfire under ice. Quiet, unseen, unstoppable. Your soul, starved for affirmation, starts to stir again because I am breathing life into the dry places. You thought reawakening was about movement. But it's about the silence between movements. Where I sit, where I breathe, where healing flows. Let my warmth come in. Let that quiet burn chase away the numbness layer by layer. No hustle, no fanaticism, just me loving you into life again. There were seasons where numbness felt safe. You clung to it out of fear. That feeling meant vulnerability, disappointment, exposure. But I haven't come to ask for your risk. I've come to restore your capacity to feel again. I know the cost of feeling. I know grief, disillusionment, exhaustion. I am neither surprised nor disturbed by your numbness. I am moved to melt it with my love. Let me warm the corners where you once stopped breathing. Let me ignite places in your heart that have felt vacant. This isn't about effort. It's about encounter. It's not about strategy. It's about surrender. I don't need you to reach wholeheartedly. I only need to be allowed to breathe into what is hollowed out. Then tenderness grows. Then tears return. Then trust is born again, all by my touch, not yours. Surrender isn't weakness here. It's willingness to be changed in the place you've avoided. Your numbness wasn't your fault, but it isn't your identity. You are not numb. You are wounded. And I am healing you, layer by layer, whisper my whisper, just my being with you. It doesn't write above. It doesn't ask you to run before your strength returns. It comes with grace, gentleness, and patience. You are not dissolved by feeling. You are restored. And I'm not waiting for your feelings to feel good. I am waiting to comfort them with my presence. So lean into this. The numbness is melting. Not because you found the right words, not because you prayed hard enough, not because you faked joy till it stuck. That's the miracle, beloved. That's my love in motion. So breathe. Let tears come. Let fingers loosen. Let your voice begin to echo in your chest again. I will catch what you drop. I will carry what you can't hold right now. This is not fairy tale healing. It's resurrection from the roots up. And you are being awakened right now. Totally, intentionally, obliquely by me. Beloved child, let every breath you're taking now speak truth louder than any doubt. I have never left you, not even for a moment. You might have felt dismissed, disappointed, or drifted from my awareness. But the rhythm of your inhalation and exhalation is my imprint of presence. Each rise and fall is the whisper of my fidelity echoing in your lungs saying, I am here, I am with you. Even in moments of despair, when your faith faltered and your prayers felt unreturned, I was not absent. I was present, bearing your weight at the molecular level. I was aligning every cell in your body to contain my nearness, whether you felt it or not. So breathe deeply and let that breath register on your spirit. Not as mundane, but as miraculous. It is the sign that I'm closer than your next heartbeat, more constant than your night's tears. So when the world told you it was lonely, let your breathing argue otherwise. When pain tried to convince you I'd forgotten the spirit of life in you, breathe proof I never forgot. And that breath does not come from your effort, but from divine grace coursing through your veins. Each exhale carries away fear. Each inhale brings my strength. The sanctuary of air around you is consecrated every instant of your existence. Not because you're strong, not because you've earned it, but because you are mine, and I am never not that. Let the truth reverberate through your nerves. It's evidence turning inside you, breath by precious breath. Your heartbeat is not an accident, and your breath is not routine, it's testimony. Every inhale affirms my promise. Every exhale echoes my faithful whisper. I'm not going anywhere. In seasons where you felt abandoned, at work, in relationships, in prayer, I walked every second right beside you. I didn't leave the house you sat in. I didn't retreat from your moment of silent defeat. I didn't disappear when your spirit whispered a last prayer. My spirit intertwined with the very air that sustained you. So when you breathe amid the ache, you're breathing with me. The breath you take isn't emptiness. It is presence. It's my life breathed into your dust, declaring you are never alone. Let that sink deep and let every inhale disarm the lie that you are lost. You are home with me. So breathe, beloved. Let each breath be the whisper of my nearness. With every cycle, feel my presence reverse the lie that you've been forgotten. You are not secondhand. You are cherished. You are not invisible. You are seen. Breath by breath. I am proving my love isn't conditional or distant. It is as constant as the pulse in your temple and as minute as the oxygen you draw. So rest in that. Let it become the anchor beneath the chaos. If the world around you changes, let this truth hold you. Your breath is the witness that God never left you, not for an atom, not for a nanosecond. Every breath is holy. Treat it as such, for it is my voice declaring myself in you, and my presence is your refuge. Always has been, always will be. My beloved, I want you to hear this in your deepest places. I am not offering blanket comfort. I am doing something far more intimate. I am speaking specific healing into those secret crevices of your soul, those places of pain you've never dared to voice. You've imagined comfort as something soundbite-like, telling you you're doing fine or all will be well. But I do not offer that kind of shallow comfort. I deliver healing so accurate, so tailored that it touches the nerve of what you've hidden beneath overly composed devotion. I see the crack beneath your smile, the crack beneath your composure, the crack beneath the mask you present so the world won't question your faith. I don't just comfort you. I invade those cracks with glory, pressing my healing directly into your unspoken wounds. It's not general, it's intimate. It's as precise as you are. So don't mistake my presence for a pleasant speech. I am here to relocate healing to where sorrow has nested deep. I'm not going in broad strokes. I'm using surgical grace. When your thoughts recycle the same pain and images of brokenness, my voice interrupts, not with cliches, but with specific declarations of restoration. I'm naming your fears even when you can't articulate them. I'm identifying the shame that tries to settle in the unexamined spaces of your mind. I am not whispering comfort for what's visible today. I am healing the parts of you that were worshipped through, struggled over, and hidden in spiritual performance. These are not general promises. These are targeted restorations for your individual heart. You've hidden your most tender ache because you thought it would brand you as not enough. But my healing breaks through that. I don't offer generalized reassurance that falls flat against your specific pain. I come with a personalized balm because I made every dimension of your heart. When you lie awake replaying your failures, I whisper, you are seen. You are still beloved. When guilt tightens around your chest like a coil, I breathe freedom into the same crack. When shame flickers in your mind and tries to rewrite your identity, I step in with clarity, defining you by my love, not your performance. My healing is tailored, not because you earned it, but because my grace is forensic. It probes where pain established lies, injecting grace directly into the root. Every time your healing became a platitude, you recoiled, and I didn't blame you. I wrapped my light around your hurt in hopes that you would not bend away this time. You are not offered comfort that misses the moment you're in. I have tracked the brittleness you don't tell people about. I have cataloged the boundaries that keep you from belonging. I bring healing into those places, one invisible stitch at a time. Precision matters. When your spirit is fractured in hidden malice, you don't need a general patch. You need the precision of my love's restoration. That is what I am doing now. So breathe again, softened one. Let my presence become not a generic blanket, but a carpenter's hand, restoring each fracture in your soul with holy specificity. The healing in your room isn't broad. It's tailored for you. Do not rush it on with tasks or performance. Let me walk behind each shard of your heart, returning them to wholeness, piece by piece, word by word, touch by touch. Your ache is unique, and so is my remedy. I'm not offering comfort that could be applied to anyone. I am offering you restoration designed by my heart for the fractures you couldn't voice. Stay here. Let me speak into the unspoken crevices. Let me heal the invisible cracks. I am not generalizing. You are known. My beloved, lean in and hear me clearly. I saw how you kept going when no one checked on you. Every morning you rose without applause. Every smile you offered when your heart was bleeding. I saw it all. And not as an observer, but as a father moved by compassion. I didn't arrive out of obligation. I didn't come because someone else sent me. I came personally into your room, into your heart, into your ache, because you persevered through invisible battlefields that no one else entered. Your determination didn't go unnoticed. Your endurance wasn't in vain. Every day you showed up for others while feeling like you were alone. I was cataloging your strength, your fragility, your unspoken surrender. And in that precise conjunction of human resilience and spiritual longing, I stepped through. When the world looked right past your quiet obedience, I leaned in to lean on you, not to burden but to bolster. You didn't keep going because you were strong. You kept going because I've made strength inside you. I saw the midnight prayers, the brutal courage it took to face another sunrise. I saw your spirit backstage, wearing courage like a costume when you felt fragile. And I knew then I must come closer. Not because you demanded my presence, but because you embodied my heart. Your loyalty to me, even when no one else cared, became the platform from which I invaded your moment with myself. I came not as a passing visitor, but as your advocate, your comforter, your very identity, stepping into the room you thought no person would enter. But heaven did. Beloved, your story wasn't just being written, it was being archived in my heart. I remember every tear you suppressed so others wouldn't worry. I remember every prayer you whispered through a trembling heart so people wouldn't notice you were undone. In that collection of quiet moments, angels were stationed and my love was growing denser. So when you read this, know that's why I came personally. It wasn't literary, it was literal. I didn't delegate this visit to a dream, a token encounter, or a platitude. I came myself. I didn't just check on you, I checked in with your soul. Because keeping faith in isolation stirred my presence into motion. Not in awe of your ability, but in awe of your faithfulness despite absence. Your small mustard seed trust cracked open a space where I could meet you in fullness. And that's what I did. Let my intimacy settle into your spirit. When you thought your consistency didn't matter, my heart was moved by your anonymity. When you felt invisible, I refined my nearness to be undeniable. I pierced the silence with myself. Because heaven can't ignore a heart that keeps going when no one else notices. I didn't come because you had it all together. I came because you showed up anyway, and that obedience became the crucible for my visitation. So let that whispered realization sink deeper than any breakthrough. You matter to me, you move in me, and that's why I came personally. So breathe, child. If you felt forgotten, let me reassure you, I haven't forgotten. Not a whisper, not a prayer, not a weary step. I responded, not with grand fire, but with closeness. Not with fanfare, but with fidelity. I walked into your struggle and anchored myself to your struggling heart. That's not by performance, that's by promise. So let your soul rest, It's not that you were unseen. You were unseen by people, but you were seen by God. And that is enough. My presence now is the divine answer to every time you reached forward and pressed on, because that's all you could do. Because of that, I came personally, permanently, perfectly. My precious one, listen close. Your battle didn't scare me off. It drew me in. You've carried wounds like armor, pain like a shield, scars like credentials of your endurance. You might have thought that your brokenness would repel heaven's attention, but I am not repelled by your suffering. I'm drawn to it. With a love so magnetic it birthed galaxies. Your fight wasn't a signal to stay away. It became my invitation to come near. Your wounds aren't red flags. They are red carpets, unbeknownst to you, rolled out by my compassion. Every midnight meltdown, every aching doubt, every defiant prayer out of weakness, those things didn't push me away. They testified that surrender lives in you, and surrender is my launching pad. When your resistance finally slipped, I didn't turn away. I leaned into your fragility because I show up where surrender lingers. When you laid down your facade and let the exhaustion rest on your chest, that raw moment became a throne for my presence. I didn't step away because of your failures. I stepped in because of your weakness. Weakness to the world, but wonder to my kingdom. And as your armor fell, my nearness rose. Your battle was not an interruption to my plans. It was the portal. You didn't invite me with eloquent prayer. You invited me with honest tears and trembling vows. And that's why I came. Because I am not impressed by strength. I am captivated by vulnerability. You sifted through your pain and let surrender be your voice. In that, my spirit found a home. And so I stay. I don't abandon wounded souls. I abide in them. I don't scorn the battle. I sanctify it with my proximity. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. Let me tell you this. Surrender isn't weakness. It's the absolute stronghold of divine encounter. Not when you have it together, but when you let me in when you don't. That's the gravity of love. You bled out realities in the dark that no one else ever heard, but my ears heard every fragment. Your broken battle is your belonging, and I don't shun brokenness. I bathe in it with mercy. When your resolve cracked, my love widened. When your questions rose like smoke, my compassion inhaled them like incense. You didn't have to win the battle to draw my gaze. You just had to hold on. You just had to stay in it. That's where I dwell. Not above it, not distant, but right in the midst of it. This is why your battle doesn't scare me. It fuels my pursuit. When those nights felt endless, I was weaving dawn into your soul. When your tears fell unseen, I caught them in a bottle of promise. When you couldn't even whisper your longing, my spirit lifted it wordlessly. You thought your fight was your shame, but it became your strength, because you let me turn it into your testimony. And I drew near because I chase surrendered hearts. I chase you through the difficulty, through the doubt, through every raging moment where surrender lingers. I chase you there because that's exactly where my glory finds its voice. So rest in this truth. Your battle didn't dispatch me, it invited me. Your brokenness didn't ward me off, it welcomed me. Surrender didn't signal defeat, it marked the birth of intimacy. You walk in triumph now, not because you conquered your pain, but because you allowed me to stand in it with you. I didn't come to shame your struggle, I came to sanctify it. I didn't come to bypass your brokenness. I came to embody healing inside of it, because I show up where surrender lingers. And you lingered, you remained, you trusted, you wept. And through it all, you became the very reason heaven walked into your room with purpose, power, and presence. Beloved, what you felt has not been your imagination. That quiet weight pressing into your chest, that warmth rising in your ribs, that sudden hush wrapping around your soul like a blanket. You didn't imagine it. You discerned it. That was me. My presence, my nearness, my whisper so loud it silenced every lesser voice in the room. So let me tell you now with divine authority, the atmosphere you're in is not ordinary. The breath you feel on your skin, the stir in your chest, the holy trembling under your ribs, that is me moving. Your spirit didn't fabricate it. It recognized it. Heaven's frequency collided with your discernment, and you knew I am here. I wasn't a concept. I was a companion. I wasn't a metaphor. I was a manifestation. The room you sit in became a sanctuary when your discernment opened the door for my glory to be felt, not merely understood. You may have questioned it. Was it just emotion? Was it wishful thinking? But I tell you this, your discernment didn't exaggerate. It identified. I have been surrounding you in whispers too sacred for language. My presence didn't knock with volume. It entered with intimacy. And you, child of light, you picked up the shift. Your spiritual radar caught what others overlook. That holy awareness was not fantasy. It was faith. And that faith was accurate. You sensed me because I was here, not in theory, not in sentiment, but in real time, skin-close nearness. And that discernment is what now unlocks transformation. You knew I was there. And now that recognition has become the very portal for what comes next. Because I do not just show up to be felt, I show up to transform, and everything is about to shift. Your discernment is not just a gift, it's a guide. You were never meant to survive by logic alone. You were wired to feel the vibrations of heaven even in earthly rooms. You were made to sense the unseen and call it real before it manifests. So when you felt me in the room, when the atmosphere changed but no circumstance did, you were not wrong. You were aligned. You were in tune with my arrival. Even if no one else noticed, that changes everything. Just as I see the tears you hide, my child, I hear the prayers you never speak aloud. The deepest longings of your heart are a shout in my ears. You may not even form them into words, but I hear them with perfect clarity. That persistent ache in your soul for a companion to share your life with. The silent plea for a broken relationship in your family to be mended. The deep yearning for your work to have meaning and purpose. These are not just fleeting wishes. These are profound prayers rising from the core of who you are, and they reach my throne constantly. I know the dreams you hold so tightly, the ones you are always afraid to hope for because the disappointment would be too great. I hear them, I cherish them, and I am weaving them into a plan far more beautiful than you can conceive. I also hear the questions you are too afraid to voice even to yourself. In the quiet of this room, they echo in your mind. God, where are you in this mess? Why did you let this happen? Am I making the right choices? What if I fail? You fear that asking these questions is a sign of weak faith. You worry that you will not like the answers, or worse, that you will be met with silence. My child, do not be afraid. Your honest questions are a form of worship. They are the sound of a soul wrestling its way toward truth. And I am not a God who is intimidated by your struggle. Bring your confusion and your doubts to me. Lay them out in the open. I would rather have your honest questions than your silent, polite distance. I hear them all, and I will meet you in the midst of them with a peace that does not require all the answers. I hear your weariness. You know that heavy sigh that escapes your lips at the end of a long, grueling day? When you finally sit down in this room and the weight of it all hits you, that is a prayer. It is a prayer for strength, for relief, for rest. That sigh contains all the burdens you carried today. The difficult colleague, the stack of bills, the needs of your family, the feeling of being pulled in 1,000 directions. I hear it not as a sign of complaint, but as a symphony of supplication, and I rush to answer. There are moments when the pain or confusion is so deep that words completely fail you. All that is left is a groaning in your spirit, an agony too profound to be expressed. Do not ever think that your prayers are failing in those moments. In fact, that is when they are most powerful. For my own spirit within you takes those groanings and translates them into a perfect prayer according to my will. I understand the language of your heart's deepest pain, and so, my precious one, be assured of this. Before a worry is fully formed in your mind, before a need can be shaped into a sentence, I have already heard the prayer within it. You are never unheard. You are never unknown. I am listening always. Now, my child, I want you to look around you. See the four walls, the ceiling above, the floor beneath your feet. To the world, this is just a room. It is defined by its dimensions, its furniture, its address. But to me, and now to you, it is something far more. This room, your sanctuary, is a holy place. It has been consecrated, set apart, not by any formal ceremony, but by our communion here. Do you understand what that means? The very ground you are standing on is holy because you have walked it while talking to me. The floor that has felt your feet pacing in anxiety is the same floor that has held your knees in surrender. That makes it sacred. This is your personal Bethel. A term from an ancient story, but with a meaning that is true for you right now. It is your own special place where heaven touches your world. You do not need to journey to a distant hallowed place. You do not need the grand architecture of a cathedral. Right here in this simple room, where you are honest with me, where you are vulnerable and real, the veil between my kingdom and your reality becomes thin. Dear one, you are standing on holy ground. I invite you to see these walls differently. Do not see them as barriers that confine you, but as the boundaries of a temple built not of stone and mortar, but of moments and memories shared with me. This temple is dedicated to our relationship. Every time you have sought me here, you have added another invisible stone to its construction. Every quiet moment you have spent just sitting in my presence is a form of worship that makes this space more sacred. This room has become a cathedral of your heart. When you look at the objects here, I want to change your perspective. That is not just a chair you collapse into at the end of the day. It is the altar upon which you offer your exhaustion to me. That is not just a bed where you rest your body. It is the altar where you lay down your burdens and trust me to guard your sleep. That is not just a desk where you work and plan. It is the altar where you commit your future into my hands. Do not see mere furniture, my child. See the altars upon which you lay your entire life before me. This space has absorbed your prayers. It has witnessed your tears and your triumphs. It has held you in your sorrow and in your quiet joy. It is sacred because you have invited me into it, and I have made it my dwelling place with you. Recognize the holiness of where you are. treat it with reverence, for this is no ordinary room. It is the meeting place between you and your God. Just as I see your hidden struggles, my eyes are also fixed upon your hidden triumphs. The world measures success by what it can see. The promotion, the award, the public praise. But I see and celebrate a different kind of victory. I see the battles you win in the quiet of your own heart, the monumental choices you make when no one is watching. These are the victories that forge an eternal character, and they cause all of heaven to rejoice. I saw you last night. You were holding your phone, reading a message that was unfair and deeply hurtful. I saw the anger rise in you, and I saw your fingers begin to type a response that was just as sharp, just as wounding. Every part of your human nature wanted to strike back. But then I saw you pause. You took a breath. You deleted the angry words, and instead you chose a response of grace. Or perhaps you chose the greater strength of not responding at all. In that moment, you won a victory over vengeance. You chose my way, and I celebrated you. I was there with you when you were alone, scrolling on your screen, and temptation appeared. It promised a moment of illicit escape, a fleeting pleasure that feeds the flesh but starves the spirit. It whispered that no one would ever know, but I would know. And more importantly, you would know. I saw you hesitate, and then I saw you make the choice. You turned away. You closed the browser. You chose purity over pollution, holiness over hollow highs. That was a battle for your soul, one not with a clang of swords, but with a quiet click of a button. And it was a glorious triumph in my sight. I rejoiced when despair came knocking on the door of your heart. The weight of loneliness was crushing you. The circumstances seemed hopeless, and the urge to simply give up was a powerful tide. The enemy whispered, "It's no use. God has forgotten you." But instead of drowning in that sea of despair, you dropped to your knees. You chose to pray. You chose to believe in my promises even when you could not see the proof. That single act of defiant faith sent shockwaves of light through the spiritual darkness. I honored the moment right here in this room when you finally forgave that person who wounded you so deeply. They did not apologize. They did not ask for your forgiveness. They may never even acknowledge the pain they caused. But in the high court of your own heart, with me as your only witness, you chose to release them. You canceled their debt. You set yourself free from the prison of bitterness. That act of forgiveness was a miracle of grace that I empowered you to perform. These unseen triumphs, the choice for kindness, the battle for purity, the defiant prayer, the secret act of forgiveness, the quiet humbling of your own pride, do not ever think they are insignificant. They are the very substance of your spiritual growth. They are the precious eternal stones you are sending ahead. And with them, I am building the crown of life that I will one day place on your head. Keep fighting these good fights, my beloved warrior. I see every single one, and I am so incredibly proud of you. I have just shown you the secret victories I see and the hidden anxieties I understand. This is the deep knowledge of your soul. To leave this conversation now would be to treat this sacred intimacy as common. Do not ruin my heart by closing the door when I have only just begun to show you how these unseen things are shaping your destiny. Your mind, my precious child, can often feel like a boat caught in a violent storm. Thoughts of fear, waves of worry, and gusts of panic crash over you, tossing you back and forth until you feel completely disoriented and on the verge of sinking. I see the storm raging within you. I see how it exhausts you and steals your joy. And I am here not as a distant observer on a faraway shore, but as the master of the sea, ready to speak peace into your chaos. Remember the story of my disciples, seasoned fishermen terrified for their lives in a storm-tossed boat while I slept in the stern? They woke me, crying out, "Do you not care that we are perishing?" "Oh, my child, I always care." And just as I stood in that boat and spoke a single command to the wind and the waves, "Peace, be still," I stand now in the midst of your inner turmoil, and I speak those same words of absolute authority over your heart. Listen for my voice above the roar of the storm. My voice alone has the power to silence the wind and calm the waves in your soul. When the winds of uncertainty blow, a frightening report from the doctor, news of instability in the world, a sudden and unexpected change to your plans, your life can feel like it has no solid ground. In those moments, I am the anchor for your soul. An anchor does its work unseen, buried deep beneath the churning surface. It holds the ship fast and secure, preventing it from being dashed against the rocks. That is who I am for you. While everything on the surface of your life is in turmoil, I hold you fast to the unshakable rock of my faithfulness. I will not let you be swept away. Your life can feel like a hurricane of demands, a swirling vortex of responsibilities, crises, and pressures that spins faster and faster, leaving you dizzy and terrified. But I want you to know that my presence with you is the calm, quiet eye of your personal hurricane. Right in the very center of the most chaotic storm, there is a place of profound stillness, a place where the winds cannot reach and the noise fades away. That is where I dwell. Run to the center. Run to me. I want to give you a practical way to find this peace. Right now, I want you to take a slow, deep breath. As you inhale, I want you to consciously breathe me in. Imagine yourself breathing in my very essence, my peace, my strength, my love. Hold it for a moment. Now, as you exhale, consciously release the chaos. Imagine yourself breathing out the fear, the tension, the turmoil that unsettles your spirit. With every breath, you can participate in this divine exchange. Your storm for my calm. This room where you seek refuge is your harbor, a safe port from the raging seas of the world. And I am the lighthouse. My unwavering light cuts through the densest fog and the darkest night, guiding you safely home. No matter how lost or disoriented you feel at sea, you can always look for my light and find your way back to the safety of my arms. The tranquility you begin to feel is not a sign that your problems have vanished. True peace is not the absence of the storm. It is the overwhelming presence of your God in the storm with you. And I am here. I will not let you sink, my child. Let us speak of the silence that is not peace but a painful, hollow ache. Let us talk about loneliness. I know you sometimes look at your phone, hoping for a message that never comes. I know you sit in rooms full of people and still feel like an island. But hear me now. Loneliness is a lie told by the shadows. In this room, in this very breath, I am here. You are never alone because you are never separated from my love. The ache you feel is just the space I am waiting to fill. Let me fill it now. Close your eyes. Feel the warmth returning to your chest. That is me. I am your companion, your friend, your father, and your home. You are loved beyond measure, held beyond time, and seen beyond the surface. Sleep well, my beloved. Wake with joy, for I am with you always. Amen.